Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Tiana, by the way, if you guys don't know. I came here today to tell you guys more about the new moon in Virgo, what it's all about, and then I'm doing a little, kind of like just more of like advice, I want to say, like more of like an educational, self-improvement type thing that correlates with the new moon in Virgo and what you can do to help yourself to build some new things. So I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I can, but you guys know I talk a lot, so but I wanted to tell you guys that, and I'm also gonna make this into a reel as well. So if you guys want, more info, if you guys want to check out the reel first and then dive more deeper into um, the video that we're doing right now, that is totally fine. And when I say we, I mean spirit and I. Like, just me saying we is so much better, and it helps me kind of flow with what spirit is wanting me, or is I'm kind of like the vessel and spirit is just speaking through me. I'm sorry if I keep looking like right here because I'm looking at myself, but I need to look right here. Okay, so these are my handy dandy notes, but new moon in Virgo. So what is Virgo? Virgo is like the most purest sign, the most innocent sign. It's ruled by Mercury, which is a planet of communication, planet of just having like telepathic abilities and just really, exchanging and give and take information. Communication in literally anything. It can be technology, it can be with traffic, it can be with internal, external things, it can be with the dynamic between you and your mother, you and your father, you and your friends. That's what it rules. And it's Virgo is an earth sign and it rules the sixth house. There's 12 houses and it rules the sixth house that is governed by services. That's why Virgos love doing services for others and they feel like they have to people please. It's because of that natural element within them. It's very earthly, so they love the earth. They love trying, more Taurus likes trying new food. Virgos are just more like hands-on type of people, love materialistic things, love, themselves, just elevating. Because a lot of Virgos, they tend to always compare between one another because it's such an earthly realm for them. And so they'll compare a lot. And so that comparison kind of makes an internal competition within themselves. And they'll build on trying to make the best selves from them for their selves, so they feel like they are worth something, they're worthy because of this material things and everything else. But Virgos usually like more earthly material things because it's an earth sign. It's just psychologically, that's just how it kind of works. And then Virgos are also very, again, pure, innocent type of people. When I think of Virgo, I think of like just this white dress going into like a purification mode, and they're very detailed oriented. They're very sharp. They're very intellectual. They love things that are organized, clean, has to be it's kind of like put things in order. Virgos love pets. They love to work, depending on what type of work it is. They love, to put themselves out there, because when they put themselves out there, they feel like they're doing something. Like if they're sitting or whatever and they don't feel like they're doing as much, they will feel unworthy because it rules the sixth house, which is services and work and pets and everything like that. That's what Virgo is. And I'm trying to see what time. Okay, 4 minutes, that's good. So Virgo that's what that is. So right now, while the sun is in Virgo, we are all embodying Virgo qualities. So at this time, we might be a little critical with ourselves or others. If we're not with critical or reevaluating ourselves and detailing what we need, then we'll project that onto others, which leads to judgment and, you know, criticizing others and criticizing what you think of others, or criticizing yourself if you're not as compassionate with yourself, because Virgos can be very critical and judgmental to the point where they'll hold themselves back because they're so critical and judgmental. It's just because they see everything. They see literally everything, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. And like, they just really, it's so overwhelming. Sometimes they don't even know what to do with it. So it just really depends on how they use it. But yeah, so Virgos, very detailed, critical, you know, if they criticize you, they love you. I know that sounds so weird, but that's how they show their love. It's just like, oh, you have like something on your face, or oh, why are you wearing that? That doesn't match, or anything like that. Like, they know the details and stuff like that, to, you know, with their perspective. And so with this Virgo energy and the sun being, you know, the energy is everything. Energy is the first language. Let's talk about that for a second. Energy is the first language. If you can get used to the universal codes of everything, your life will be so much easier by not letting your mind trick you into thinking something. You will just be it. When you're immersed with the universe, it's like, you know what's going on because you are learning the universal language, right? So, with that being said, us being like Sun in Virgo, that energy that we have right now that's being channeled in our celestial bodies, we are very critical, detail, organized, with ourselves or with others. And so we can really use this energy to, you know, alchemize what we want, alchemize our desires, alchemize what we need, realizing what we need, you know. Virgo is an alchemist, okay? It turns, you know, the water into something else, or it can change. If you guys read the book, The Alchemist, it is so good. It's on YouTube. I think it's about like 4 hours. It's really great. It can teach you a lot about the universal code as well. So Virgos, or anyone out there with a lot of Virgo placements, I definitely would recommend that book to you right now. But you know, they're the alchemists, and so it's our chance to, you know, alchemize what we want and what we need, and figure out what we want and what we need. So with these planets, the sun in Virgo and the moon's always constantly changing our emotions. You know, right now, all of these bigger planets, like Uranus just went retrograde like 2 days ago. Jupiter's been retrograde, Pluto's been retrograde, Saturn's been retrograde. All of these generational planets, and Saturn, I think is a generational planet too. All of these planets going retrograde, and Mercury's about to go retrograde, but it's a more internal planet, so it's more of, it's going to hit more harder. Sorry, my iPad is going. But it's going to hit more harder because we're going to feel that influence. It's more closer to us than the generational planets, okay? All of those going retrograde, we're reevaluating things, we are restructuring things, and Uranus and Saturn are one of the two biggest ones. Saturn is the planet of karma. Uranus is the rebellion is the planet of rebellion. And well, what I'm getting my like words mixed up. Hold on, let me take a deep breath. Where Saturn is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, Saturn is really in this uncomfortable place of rebellious energy, and it's trying to reconstruct the rebellious energy, but it's trying to construct the rebellious energy for your highest good. Saturn is going to make sure that your karma is going to be some type of paying off, some type of exchange, so you can see what you need and what you don't need in your life. Saturn is like your father. Saturn is a father placement. And so it's gonna make, it's like a coach that is not gonna let you up for what you've been doing. Like, no matter what, he loves you, but he's going to show you that what you need to be working on. But where it's in Aquarius, it's more of, you know, acting out, and in more of, you know, really hard situations or experiences that you see or you feel. through all of these revelations, because the karma is all coming. And karma is not a good or bad thing. Karma is just really the action of doing something and then getting an energy return for it. It's really about your intention, like, and it's just about the lessons. Saturn's just here to teach you lessons. That's it. That's all. And Uranus is here to rebel, to make you different, to make you unique, to make you individual. Like, Aquariuses are so good at being, although they are very good with groups and they want to be in groups all the time, they're so good alone because they're themselves. They know what they like. They know who they are. They're always thinking 10 steps ahead. They're an air sign that pours down to humanity with all these new technologies, with all these new ideas. So we're in this energy of all of these planets retrograde, and these two planets, Uranus and Saturn, they're restructuring and breaking down our old foundations, not only within us, but with the collective. Everything is turned its head like 180 right now, and we're still going till we hit that 360, especially when Pluto goes into Aquarius and Uranus moves forward, especially around January and March of 2023, you'll really start to see it still going to, it probably will hit 260 then, you know what I'm saying, all the way till we get to that 360, to a whole new world order and era, because of these planets and what we're breaking down internally to rebuild again. And it's so funny, because spirit is everything to me. It's really funny how, or not funny, just ironic, how in March was the Virgo full moon. So whatever was going on in March, it's kind of embodying now in the physical right now. While we're in Virgo season, we're harvesting what we made in March 2022. And I made a post about shedding, just shedding everything away, shedding all of this. And to lead myself to where I am today, I realized I was going through that process, that purification process, so I can alchemize what I want and how I truly feel, and accept all parts of me, light, dark, raw, everything, literally everything. And it made my life more peaceful because I understood what was going on in the constellations. I was following my intuition. I just, whatever spirit tells me, I'm like, okay, I know this is going to mean something soon. You know what I'm saying? And so that energy right now is what we're in. And a lot of people don't know how to handle it. So there's just a lot of battling going on, internal battles going on within yourself, projections going on externally. So use this Virgo energy to really go down to the details and deepen your truth and deepen your soul and evolve your soul and keep growing to what's getting handed to you right now. Everything internally is a reflection of you externally. So you have to look at, okay, why is this happening to me? What is this for? What do I need to do to change it? And that's what Uranus wants you to do. It wants you to change so you can be your authentic self. It wants you to change so you're not fearful of what's going around you. You're not fearful of, what's going on. And, Chiron and Aries right now is helping us with our individuality. It's helping us with healing our wounds. And that's what I want to talk to you guys today about, because Virgo season can be very, very hard because it is very critical and detailed. And it wants you to just get on the path that you want to be on. Get on the path that you feel is best. Your emotions are your navigation to your authentic self. Your feelings are a navigation to what's best for you. And you have to really tell the difference between your mind feelings and your heart feelings, because those are two completely different things. And so the more you get to know yourself, the more easier the emotional guidance gets. Do you see what I'm saying? So I want you guys to work on these wounds that I've cultivated back in, I want to say February or so. I wrote these so long ago. I didn't know why. Spirit told me to write them down. I got them from a podcast. It's an inner child podcast, actually, on Spotify. I'll try to link down artist below so you guys can check her out. But it is time to go through, and I think that's why so many people now, I mean, I saw on Facebook today, like, this girl was like, I'm not tolerating anybody's shit anymore. Like, I'm not tolerating anybody. Like, I am to the point in my life where I am me, and it's either you accept me or you're not, or you don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's either like, you know, you're here for me for my best interest, or you're not. And, you know, people are getting the discernment of what's real and what's not for them. And, you know, working through these wounds will help. It will be, you know, very hard. And of course, I have services to help you. Just DM me and let me know. I can do a reading. I can do an astrology chart for you. I can do inner coaching sessions for you, because I know what it's like, and I'm going through it, and I'm getting out of it because of my spirit. You know, I had Jupiter in Pisces, so I'm literally my own teacher. Okay. Like, spirit is just always downloading things all the time, and it's intense, but I love sharing, and I love other people growing as well. And I just want everybody to get, the main goal in this lifetime is to be happy. The main goal in this lifetime is to follow you and be authentically you, so you can create the abundance internally, so the reflection externally is the exact same. And it's a journey to get there. We're always constantly working on ourselves. We're always constantly, you know, evolving. And it's really up to you to, you know, adapt to what's happening. You're either going to adapt, or you're just going to be stuck in the past, you know, and complain about whatever's going on now. It's either you complain or you get your ass up and go. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm here to help people do that. I talked to a client yesterday, and we were just speaking about how, you know, they've always wanted to live their dream, but they felt like it's just too late. And I'm like, and she's like, I think early 30s. I was like, you're never too late to reach your, if you have the consciousness of, oh my gosh, I want to do this, then you have the ability to actually do it. It's your mindset that keeps you back. It's the fears, it's the wounds, which what we're going to talk about today, that's holding you back. And I want to go ahead and get started with the 4 wounds, because we're already almost 20 minutes in. And I said I was going to keep this short. But I want you guys to grow and flow with everything that's going on. And the more that you understand what's going on in the constellations and what's going on in the world collectively and individually, the more that it will help you flow, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. And this has nothing to do with anyone's religion beliefs, anyone's beliefs in general. I accept all, you know, even if, you know, you're an atheist, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I accept anyone, because I know that we are on different journeys. Everyone has different needs. Everyone has different belief systems, and it's really up to you what you want and what feels best to you. Okay. I am just a spiritualist in practice, just helping you grow, you know? So, this is just not really like religious space. This is more of just spiritual, just out there, very expansive. So I'm going to go ahead and read these 4 wounds that can help you. This has nothing to do with religion or anything like that. It more has to do with yourself, what you can work through to release, so you can have more space for more new things and more exciting experiences in life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so there's 4 core wounds that we have. So we have the guilt wound, the abandonment wound, the trust wound, and the neglect wound. These are all very different, and if they resonate with you, I want you guys to write this down and look it up later on YouTube on, you know, what's going on. I also do inner child work sheets. And so what that is, I'll do a full scan of what's going on with you and what chakras you need to work on, what inner size you need to work on. It's like exercise, but it's internal exercise. And also just a few remedies that you need to, you know, pick up the pace of where you want to go. I also offered that, I think it's like $15. So again, if you want any of my services, just DM me and I can send you the book. Or not the book, it's just literally a flyer. Okay, but the guilt wound. Guilt wound, you always feel bad, you always feel sorry, you always feel bad to ask for your needs. And meeting your needs, you feel like you're talking away from someone else. It's not your fault. You learned these strategies with what you only knew at the time. And what you know, you'll always attract. And so with this guilt wound, you always feel like, feeling bad, feeling insecure, feeling sorry, for you. So you apologize for every little thing that you do. I know a lot of Virgos that do this. I mean, I do this a lot. And I had to catch myself, because the more that I do that, the more of that guilt wound is overcoming me. And then I'm not my authentic self, because I have this huge wound in the way, and it's attracting all of these people that's going to take advantage of me, or just really just going to, take advantage, or just, what else? They're just going to get really annoyed by you, just the whole apologizing and all this people pleasing. But mainly they're going to take advantage of it, because they know that you'll do anything. They know that your kindness is for, they'll take your kindness for weakness. And any of these wounds, really, they will. And that's why it's really good for you to be conscious of them, and conscious of yourself and what you're saying, how you're feeling, really scan the body, because these guilt wounds are attracting your friends, the family that mistreats you all the time, the business partners that always screw you over. This guilt wound is overtaking your reality. The second one is the abandoned wound. And so this one, it's like you always feel like you're missing out. Like you always feel like you're missing out on something. So you have to do everything. Like, even though you don't have, let's say, the best energy for it, or the best finances at the time, you still do this thing out of the blue, because you feel like you're going to miss out. So you need to do it like right now. And that's just because you feel abandoned. So you chase things instead of letting things receive to you. And this can come from codependency, or attracting people that are emotionally unavailable, and it feels very addictive. And all of these wounds are very addictive. People are addicted to miserability. Is that even a word? They're addicted to being miserable. They're addicted to negativity, because they always complain. They're always negative. If you're not this type of person, these type of people. If you've been around these type of people, like, what I'm saying, they're always talking something. There's always drama. It's because they're addicted to it, because they don't want to go down in the dirt and just release what's needed. That's all what energy is. Energy is, or emotion, I'm sorry. Emotion is just energy in motion. So if you can find that little wound through these experiences and why they're happening, then the more scarier it gets, because the more bold you get, the more courage you get, the more strength you get to really be yourself and really not tolerate any of that anymore, because you're done with your wounds. You're done with your wounds taking over you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the guilt wound and the abandonment wound. We have two more. Also with an abandonment wound, you also can have the fear of being hurt again. So you kind of push everything away and abandon everyone, so you can, be in your little box, so no one, you can't get hurt again. And I personally, I had all of these wounds. First off, let's just start there. It took me and it still takes me a long time. I'm really working on the trust wound right now and the abandonment wound. But it's taking me a long time to realize, I'm the only one that's holding myself back. And I had to work through those wounds to understand that. But the abandonment wound is what really got me, because I did have experiences in my childhood where I felt abandoned a lot, abandoned emotionally, abandoned physically, and I'm just sharing my personal experience so you guys can know that you're not alone, and that's okay, because we are all human. The highest level of unconditional love is understanding and accepting. And if we can do that as individuals, our whole humanity can turn around for, the best. It all starts with you. You know what I'm saying? Like they say in college, it's the same thing in life, okay? So the trust wound, if you couldn't trust on your parents, you don't trust yourself. When we're little and we're babies and we didn't get what we needed and they didn't understand what we needed, then we can lose that trust. I remember I was going through my binder there's this elementary to high school book that I had since I was like in like first or second grade. And about the time I hit second grade, I was like, I wrote down literally, trust no one. I was like, how in the hell? Like, I was like in second grade. But yeah, like, you know, if your parents didn't give you what you needed, and mind you, every child is different. They're not going to have the same needs that you are. You know, they might have the same DNA, but the needs, desires, completely different. And a lot of parents try to, through fear, try to parent them as if, you know, how their parents parent them, or how they feel as though what they need, like, you know what I'm saying? But listening to your child and, you know, understanding that emotional support and physical support that they need, is very important. And a lot of parents, especially in my generation, like the parents before, or the parents that were like early you guys know what I'm saying. They didn't really have, you know, a lot of the technology and education about emotional things like we did. So meeting those needs weren't really as prominent as, you know, the as how parents are today. They are, or some parents. I really don't know how it is because I'm not a parent yet. But we have more education on how to treat our children, how to go about things, how to meet their needs. And a lot of us have just trust issues because our parents didn't meet what we need. So we couldn't trust them. We were trying to make them happy. We were trying to please them. And then that goes on externally, and that's what we always attract, because that's what we were, you know, 10, 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Or however long. So again, if you can trust on your parents, and you don't trust yourself, so you will tend to be insecure and have attachments and start looking for validation from others to test them subconsciously. This is a subconscious thing. Your subconscious is always creating you, okay? Always creating your experiences. It's again connected to the quantum field. So it's always going with the universal code. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say you need to read your energy. You need to read everything that's around you, because you'll know by the experiences. The last one is the neglect win. Okay, you didn't get as much attention needed as a child emotionally or physically, because you didn't feel seen or heard. And a lot of people, and this is where a lot of the projection comes out, because a lot of people didn't feel like they were seen or heard when they were little, okay? They always had to do what the parents had to do or wanted to do. They couldn't ask why. Why is such a good question to ask, because kids are so curious. They're like cats. They want to know, like, what's that or what's this? Why can't we do that? Why can't we do this? There's a story that's coming on my head that I want to share that I think I heard on a podcast, or maybe a friend told me, but there was this little girl that asked her grandma why they always like cut the turkey in half at every Thanksgiving. And she was just like, well, it's just tradition. Like, you know, you don't ask why, it's just tradition. So she went to her mother, and, or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe she went to her mom first and the grandmother, but that's not the point. Then she went to her mother and was like, well, why'd you, you know, cut the turkey in half or whatever? And she was like, you know, my mother did it, so I did it. And she was like, oh, okay. She was like, well, ask your great-grandmother. And so she asked her great-grandmother, and she was like, we just did it because, like, you know, and it just turned out that way. Or it was something very small, and it was just like, wow, the ripple effect from just cutting things in half just because, like, you know what I'm saying? Or it was some certain like specific thing, I feel like, but it was very like, what the heck? So she ended up like, that's what it was. They cut it in half because sorry, I had to think for a second. The stove back then when they were little was too small, so they had to cut it in half and do one half of the turkey and then the other half of the turkey. And so that's how, that's why they ended up cutting it in half because the oven was too small. But then they're thinking, you know, generation after generation, that it's just a tradition. It's something that's very sacred. When really it was just because they had to do that because the stoves were too small back then. And so she was like, wow, like to know the reason why, it can be completely different. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's really about just being that curious person. Oh, what's this? What's that? You know, can expand your mind. You know what I'm saying? Now that she knows that, she's like, well, my stove isn't that small, so I can put the whole thing in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like just asking those why questions, we didn't have that ability when we were little. It was just do what your parents say. You don't ask why. If you ask why, that's disrespectful. And why is a very universal, language. You understand when you ask why. You understand when you're curious about things and you want to know more things. But if you're getting shut down by your parents saying, well, you don't ask why, and that's too disrespectful. Well, you're being too smart. Why are you asking why about this? Why is such a sentimental question, like such a deep, sorrow question to some people. And it's just like, why is that? Like, why is just a regular question like what, where, when, how? It's the same thing. So why can't we ask about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is the uncomfortable energy coming from? You know what I'm saying? And that whole neglect wound is a part of that. So just really, being shut down with the questions that you wanted, or you wanted to be heard, or you wanted to be seen, can really play a huge role in your adult life right now. So, I'm sorry, I kind of just lost my train of thought when I read that. But it's like a struggle to neglect wound. The neglect wound is the struggle to let go. I'm sorry, I'm 30 minutes in, so I'm trying to hurry, and I cut everything off. The neglect wound is a struggle to let go, repress to anger or resentment someone's wrongs. Then you carry it to the heart for a really long time because it reminds you of what happened in your childhood. And sometimes you avoid, or sometimes you attach. Different ways that people deal with it. And you'll attract those people, of course, that don't feel appreciated, or you may have commitment issues within itself because of this neglect wound. And neglecting of not knowing, neglecting of feeling, neglecting of, any physical things. So this is the call to action. 32 minutes later, call to action, identify your wounds right now. Get out a journal, identify your wounds, and examine your relationships to see where your wounds are. You can pause this video, or you can go on to the next question that I'm about to do right now. Again, look up these wounds, see what they are. And then number 2, perspective shift. Ask yourself in your head, take a deep breath. Why? And don't think about it. Let it come up to you, okay? Let you feel what your answer is rather than thinking what your answer is, because that's when the mind tricks you. Our internal body has nothing to do with the mind. The mind is just a tool to help us to go higher, okay? The tool to help us just here, okay? Your internal body is completely ethereal. It's completely different from the actual physical world. So let the feeling come up to you. Let the experience, if you have an image of when you were a child and you could see that within your mind when you close your eyes and ask yourself that question, let that flow and see what's coming up for you, okay? So ask yourself, why am I following this to let this person make me feel this way? Ask yourself, why am I allowing this person to make me feel this way? Or just ask yourself, why am I allowing this wound to make me create this way? Okay. Or why am I choosing this narrative? Okay. Perspective's everything. If you guys want me to do a perspective video, let me know. Life doesn't have to happen to you. Life doesn't happen to you. You make the choices and can change that narrative always. Period. I wanted to let you guys know that with this. Okay, guys, seriously, I have to get off of here. I'm just, I gotta get off. It's almost 40 minutes. I hope this helps rebuild your foundation of what's going on. I hope this helps with, you know, the body always aching, the mind always going, the things always being so critical, the things, your internal battle, anything like that, even your illusion. I hope this helps your illusion. If you are one of those people that were just like, like, there's no way, there's a way. Wherever there's a will, there's a way, okay? So really think about that. Be honest with yourself, be 100% with yourself. No one's around but yourself, okay? Don't let society trick you. Just be with yourself, breathe. And if you guys have any questions, of course, I'm here. If you guys want any services, of course, I am here. I will actually upload this, my services, to my page for some like 24 hours. But if you see this and you want something, feel free to reach out. If you even feel something, reach out, because your mind will trick you to not, okay? If you want to go deeper, reach out. I am here, okay? I love you guys so much. I hope that you guys have a great week. Hope you guys have a great new moon as well. Treat yourself. You know, new moons are about new beginnings, birthing a clean slate, a fresh slate, a blank slate. And it's really about manifesting your desires and your needs, what you want, okay? So happy Virgo season, guys.